It can get even better than it is now?
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, presented by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K. Got the point right. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today. My daughter likes to listen to music on the way to school, and I drive her to school every morning. And we're past Taylor Swift. We're not listening to the Wicked soundtrack anymore. She's got this new guy that she was listening to, and I don't remember his name because I'm not hip. I'm not cool. I don't even think cool people say hip anymore. The song today that she was fixated on was talking about how if you think about what's coming to you, good things will happen. If you imagine, if you manifest it, it will happen. Well, guess what? What I'm about to tell you, I'm not manifesting. I know for fact. I know that it's true. I know that it is 100% accurate. And that's that the Phoenix Suns are going to add a player in the next 7 to 10 days that will change everything. A player that they're going to add to this roster that is going to have a major impact. What if I told you that they could add a top 100 player? That this player's 23 years old from a team that finished second in the West last year, averaged 21 points per game, averages 4.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists, almost a steal a game, shoots a little over 35% from deep. Oh, he's also one of the fastest players in the game, and he puts pressure on the rim like nobody's business, has a better shooting percentage at the rim than most players in the NBA. Would this guy not change a lot of what you have seen from this team? A lot of the deficiencies. They need to increase their pace. They're the second worst team at putting effort or putting pressure on the rim. This guy will change that. This guy will change everything. And they're going to get him for about as cheap as you can get a guy before the deadline. Yeah, I'm talking about Jalen Green. I don't have any insight into if they're going to make a trade. I kind of do, but it's not. This is not going to be some massive trade, nor are they going to make some massive trade, right? They will have Jalen Green come back to this roster, though. The guy who's the second most talented guy on the roster behind Devin Booker, if we were talking pure talent that translates to the NBA. Maybe not actualized talent, but pure talent. He's 23, and the kid is all about the vibes. We've seen it. He's the first guy off the bench to high-five his teammates, to get amped up. He's barking behind guys during post-game press conferences. He is a guy that's going to come in and has already fit the culture. We saw what he did in his first game, dropping 30. He can change the ceiling. He can raise that ceiling for this team. And they're going to get him in the next 7 to 10 days. When Jordan Ott was asked about him in particular last night, I believe it was by Dwayne Rankin, about if they expected Jalen Green back for this road trip at some point, he said, that's the plan. All right. So we can assume the next 7 to 10 days, whether it's on this road trip, on this East Coast swing, or when they come back on the 25th to town, Jalen Green will be back in uniform. Been a long slog, been a lot of injury maintenance that they've tried to overcome with him and getting him up to speed. He's been around the team. He's been around every step of the way. And this offense, you got to think about it. Everybody praises Jordan Ott for what he's done with this offense, what they've been able to accomplish, how good it's looked at times, the movement, everything. This offense was built for Jalen Green and Devin Booker. This offense was built with Jalen Green in mind and his strengths. And we haven't even seen it. And they're 9 games above 500 without even seeing Jalen Green's potential in this lineup and what he can do. I can guarantee you they won't be one of the worst teams in putting pressure on the rim when Jalen Green gets back. That changes. Their pace is going to change significantly just because of his breakneck speed that he can bring to it. Lobs, they've started to work on that and get much better. Devin Booker was talking about how he's finally comfortable and in his zone with lobs, but Jalen Green in a 2-man game with Oso or Mark when he's driving the lane, throwing some alley-oops, we haven't seen anything yet with this offense. The defense has been top 10. The offense hasn't quite gotten there. Guess what? They have the potential to do it with Jalen Green. They're sitting in the 5 spot. They are above Jalen Green's former team in the Houston Rockets. They're sitting in the 6th spot with a chance to be in the 5 spot after tonight because the fraudulent Los Angeles Lakers, yeah, you heard that right. LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, I don't care how much top-end talent you have. The Los Angeles Lakers are fraudulent, and the Suns, if the Lakers lose tonight, will be ahead of them as well in the West. And this team has room to grow with Jalen Green coming back. This may be, and it's cliche, and I know it, and I do not care. This may be the biggest acquisition at the deadline any team makes just by bringing him back. By getting him back in the fold, this team has a whole nother level they can reach. We didn't think that was possible coming into this year. This team was supposed to be putrid. This team was supposed to be, at best, 9 games under 500 right now, not 9 games over 500. I don't want to get ahead of myself because this team takes it 1 game at a time, but it is hard not to start getting ahead of yourself when you look at what could happen here. If you look at what Jalen Green will bring to the team, but not just that, now a guy like Colin Gillespie gets to go back to a second unit where he can be the super 6 man. It pushes him back to that second unit with Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen's going to get better looks because Colin Gillespie's there. It has a domino effect in a positive way that can make this team even better than it is right now. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they're a top 2 or 3 team in the West. But you can't stop me from dreaming that this is no longer simply a play-in team. There's a lot that they can accomplish with Jalen Green back in the fold, and I am excited beyond belief. Now, I know this team is willing to make a move at the deadline if it will help them get better. I know this for a fact, and they're not afraid of the tax line and going over it if it's for the right guy to help win now and help win in the future. But when you look at this roster with the thought of Jalen Green being added to it, I'm not sure you need to make a move maybe outside of trading Nick Richards for a 2nd-round pick and getting under that tax line if you decide to go that route. No reason to stay $300,000 over that tax line if you don't need to. But I know they're willing, if they feel it necessary, to go above that tax line. But with Jalen Green coming back, with Devin Booker playing at the level he is, with Dylan Brooks finding that offensive game that a lot of people thought he had the potential for, but with Jordan not believing in him, with Jalen Green unlocking that next level of the offense, I don't want to get hurt again, but man, I have not been this excited for a Suns team in a very, very long time. The potential of this group is off the charts because the Phoenix Suns are going to make an addition before the trade deadline. A huge addition that will cost them next to nothing, and I can guarantee it because that guy is Jalen Green, and he's one of the best young guards in the NBA, and he's going to come in, and he's going to change the pace, he's going to change the pressure on the rim, and he's going to change the Suns' fortunes to be even brighter than they look right now. But maybe that's my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. Shane, how are you, my friend?
Did you just mess up your catchphrase?
Did I forget to say just?
Yeah.
No, maybe that is my Southwest bias. Or
Wow.
just my Southwest bias.
Wow.
It's close enough.
Hi.
That's like if David Letterman had done a top 10 list and there were accidentally 12 in the list.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Anyways.
Yeah, it is embarrassing.
You're better than that, Shane.
You did lie.
I did not
You said
lie.
yes. You said it would cost them nothing.
Next to nothing.
Okay. Well, is Isaiah Livers next to nothing? Because I don't think he's seeing the court anymore.
I don't think he's going to see the court much with
Do they have
Bashir
to-
Fleming.
Do they have to make any roster moves like to activate him? No.
Nope. No.
That's good.
And in fact, they still have that extra roster spot left. So somebody likely will get, if they don't make a trade, will get elevated to a full-time contract from a two-way. You might actually get two guys that get elevated or add somebody in the buyout market if you move off of Nick Richards as well for a draft pick. So lots of potential coming up.
So what percentage of you is worried that this is going to mess with the vibes that this team has had?
I don't think it'll mess with the vibes.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me a percentage of will it mess with the vibes, I've got maybe 1%.
Okay.
He's been around. He's been a part of the vibes. Now, if you're going to ask me, will it mess with some of the on-court, I got a 20%. I'm not super worried, but I got 20% that I'm like, does it impact the defense? Does it change the offense in a way that they're going to have a run where maybe 10 games isn't as smooth as we've seen it? I don't think that'll be the case. I think he's been around enough where he's aware of the offense and his fit in it. But I'd be lying if I did not say there's at least 20%. How about you?
I think mine's a little higher just because the reason why this team has been so good unexpectedly, obviously most of it is because of how they play, the tenacity, the heart, the passion, but it's also the offense you're getting from unexpected places, and most of that is coming from Dylan Brooks, who has turned into a volume shooter, like high volume, like a lot of shots. Is that going to be an issue? Because there are 10 possessions a game where this guy catches the ball and you're like, it's not leaving his hands. It's just not.
That's fair.
Is that going to be an issue? Maybe.
Maybe, but Dylan Brooks isn't a selfish.
No,
player.
and that's not what I mean. I don't mean that Dylan Brooks is going to get upset because he's not hitting his shots. Is that just going to mess with the offense? Is that going to mess with how efficient the team has been? It could.
I think, as Kara says, it may take a few games to get acclimated. Once he's back, vibe's still there.
Yeah.
So I think maybe for a few games, but look, it's going to be the Jordan Goodwins of the world that isn't going to be taking 15 shots in a game, and that's where it's going to come from. That's where he's going to find it. Jamari Bouye may not get those minutes where he's taking shots. It'll come on the margins. I don't think it'll come at the cost of what Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker and Royce and Grayson have been doing, or even Colin. I think it'll come in the back end of the rotation where you see some of those shots maybe disappear a little bit. Maybe he's not maybe he's an 18-point a game guy in this offense because there's more guys to share the ball with. But what he's gonna do, I think, is going to dramatically change the way that they approach offense just with his ability to drive.
I'm curious to see the rotations. Like, are they going to try to have one of those three on the court at all times? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Is Devin Booker going to have a different type of minute management, not in terms of how many minutes he's playing, but where they are? Like, because I really like the Devin Booker we've seen his whole career, where he plays almost the entire first quarter and then sits for 6 minutes. Are we going to see that? Is Jalen Green going to have shorter stints? I mean, obviously, when he comes back, it'll be more managed. But
you're not messing with Devin's rhythm. I think what'll happen is 2 of the 3 will be on the court at all times, and it'll only be one rotation, and it'll again come at the cost of some Goodwin minutes, some Jamari Bouye minutes, but I think you're going to have one of those 3 guys on the court. And maybe if Goodwin comes in and he's firing on all cylinders, it drops some minutes for Jalen one game or not. But I think that we've seen Jordan not pull all those levers in a way that has gives me faith that he's going to be able to continue to do it when we see Jalen Green back on the court for sure. Who do you think starts, though, Shane? I'm going to put you on the spot. Does Royce go to the bench? Does Grayson go to the bench? Or is it just Colin and do you stay with where you've been?
I think you have to put Grayson on the bench. In terms of the player archetype, like Royce is awesome on the court when he's hitting threes, but if he's not, he's great defensively. He's a bigger guy. Like I think that just makes more sense. You don't need the like a 15-point, 20-point outburst from Grayson Allen now with this guy back.
Yeah, I think it essentially is you see Colin go back to the bench. Royce stays in the starting lineup because he's a guy. Then he hit the three. You've got Colin and Grayson on the bench, and you have guys that you can rotate. You have guys that it can figure out things. And maybe to Kara's point in the chat, you do bring Grayson in for Royce's spot at some point if Grayson gets on a heater. But I think he's better off the bench.
I don't want to play small.
No, I want
Royce
the intangibles.
Royce is the tallest 6'7" I've ever seen. Right? Yeah. Is he 6'7", 6'8"? No, stop it. No.
He's actually, I think he's 6'5".
No.
He's listed at 6'6".
No way.
Yeah.
Is this a Kevin Durant weird thing where they don't want to be tall?
I don't know. I don't think so. But Sam says perfect example was the Knicks game where Suns could not score much towards. I was right, 6'6", but I'm pretty sure he's 6'5" in reality.
No.
So Sam says perfect example was the Knicks game where the Suns could not score much towards the end of the fourth. With Green attacking, it changes things. I agree wholeheartedly. Qwerty wants to know, who do we got to give up to get Michael Jordan? At the age 60, I'm pretty sure if you offered him the back end of the rotation contract, he'd take it at age 60 for sure. Sandman says we need a power forward. I would not press too hard.
Sandman, the power forward is dead. the power forward is dead. There's no such thing. In terms
of position or the guy that you were going after?
Definitely not the latter.
I had to
the power forward is dead and Espo has killed him.
By the way, Sandman, I was kidding about Mike at 60 joining the team. Sandman, Kara, Qwerty, Sam, Easy Care, Italicus. Thank you all for being here, and my wife, Tracy, for being part of the bias in there. Hit that like button. And if you have not become a member of the Supporters Club, hit that join button today. You're going to unlock emojis like the Devin Booker professional emoji that just dropped yesterday. You're going to get exclusive content like Steven Prigion Garner. I love saying that name. His film breakdowns plus stuff from our Cardinals guys, Bo Brock and Johnny Venerable. You're going to want to be part of that. After halftime, and I'm excited, we've got local band Gin Blossoms playing halftime. But after halftime, we're going to have Bo Brock, and we're going to talk Cardinals coaching search right after this. The husband and wife law team. If you've been in a serious accident, you can't waste time trying to find a lawyer that's right for you. You've got to spend the time researching, but don't go on a wild goose chase. Start with my friends Mark and Alexis Breyer at the husband and wife law team because they are certified experts when it comes to serious injury and wrongful death cases. And guess what? They're prepared to go to trial if that is what it comes to. And not all lawyers are. But also, not all lawyers are certified when it comes to serious injury and wrongful death. In fact, only 1% of lawyers in the Arizona bar are. But the lawyers at the husband and wife law team, they fall into that 1%. And you're going to want them on your side. So if you have had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website in the show notes and tell them that PHNX sent you. And Phoenix Raceway. No, I got to stop? All right. Well, you know what? You can hear the cars do it at the NASCAR NTT IndyCar Series race. They're racing the same weekend. It's unheard of, but it's going to happen for the first time at Phoenix Raceway, March 5th through the 8th. I've been out there. It is one of the most beautiful venues in all of sports, not just in the Valley, but all of sports. It's set inside like a mountain range. It is beautiful out there, and you can get the best access in motorsports. You can go inside the garage, walk the track, meet the drivers, and catch a pre-race concert. No sport brings fans closer, and you can upgrade to that Desert Diamond Casino infield experience and get all that. Plus, you get to watch Kyle Larson return to the track that he won the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series championship at. So secure your seats now at the link in our description. You won't regret it. You'll have a great weekend. A big thank you to the Gin Blossoms for an amazing halftime performance. I hope all of you on YouTube enjoyed it.
People are probably just confused.
Hey, I don't know. Did the ads block it? It was great in here in studio. Glad to have the house band play halftime. I'm excited for this next guy, though. Better than the Gin Blossoms, and hopefully has better news about the Cardinals coaching search than anything I've said on this program. It's the great Bo Brack. Bo, how are you?
I'm great. Was Jimmy World not available? I mean, I loved Hey Jealousy, but it was, I wanted to hear the middle instead.
Jimmy Eat World's later in the week. All right, we've got a fantastic booker. I've got comedian Nikki Glazer joining us tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic at halftime. Lots of great performances on the program this week. Connor says the halftime performance was awesome. So, some people got to witness it. Some other than football this weekend that was played and a great wild card weekend, there was news on the Cardinals side. But what can you tell us about the latest on the Cardinals coaching search?
Yeah, the Cardinals, they finished their interview with offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, Clint Kubiak, who I think is one of the fan favorites as far as potentially taking this vacant job for the Cardinals. So that's exciting. And then the team added a pair of coordinators from the Rams who survived the pesky, feisty Panthers on Saturday. Both offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, he's the brother of Matt LaFleur. So Mike, he did not blow an 18-point lead over the weekend. So that's good. That's a positive for Mike. But also Matt, so much success in Green Bay. So he's the NFL's version of maybe slide of Frank Stallone? Potentially. Could the Cardinals in the Valley get another lesser brother? It's in the works potentially for the Cardinals. And then Chris Shula, the grandson of Don Shula, the Hall of Fame coach from the Dolphins. He's the DC there for the Rams. But I think it might be a little bit of a smokescreen. I think Chris Shula, who's been with the Rams organization ever since McVay's been there, was actually developed in the lab by McVay and has just been brought along the last couple of years and developed into his DC. So we don't know if he's an actual real person or just a science project by Sean McVay.
You say the lesser brother. Why can't that lesser brother be John Harbaugh? Why do we? I mean, no knock on LaFleur, on Mike, and we can talk about him in a second. But why?
Sure.
Why have I not heard the fancy marquee names in this search? Why have I not heard anything but coordinators and retreads? Where is my flashy name?
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's fair criticism. And a week ago today, Espo, we're sitting there in the press conference room post Jonathan Gannon's firing. And president owner Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenford are saying, they're going to cast a wide net and this is about winning. They're frustrated. They see all the success from these turnarounds from the Patriots, the Bears under new head coaching, and that they're going to do, whatever it takes to get into, that conversation, in the next couple of years for the Cardinals. But their actions are proving a little bit different. Like the most proven commodities on the head coaching market, from John Harbaugh, as you mentioned, to Mike McCarthy, who's got a pretty identical record to Harbaugh and up there with Sean Payton. And then, of course, Mike McDaniel. Arizona Cardinals haven't been tied to any three of those guys who have an over 500 record, who have been to the postseason. They continue to sniff around, these retreads, as you mentioned, and these potential first-year coordinator guys who are very unproven. And that's kind of been the way that the Cardinals have operated since they moved to the desert and for the most part in their long history. And it's really unfortunate because it doesn't back up the comments that were made by the Brain Trust last week. It proves differently. And it's like, okay, we're going to seek out a new winning coach to change the direction of this franchise, but we're going to do it within the confines of our own little box that hasn't yielded any of the positive results that anybody's been looking for, at least since they've been here in the desert and in their over 120 years of existence.
Am I crazy to think that we're being almost sold on the idea by certain people in this town that Vance Joseph might actually fit that mold, that we should be okay with Vance Joseph. If it is Vance Joseph, I'm pretty sure I flip this desk the day that they hire him or hurt my back trying to.
That's the correct response. That's wanting better and holding your football team you cheer for to a higher standard. I think people, the people with football knowledge, ball knowers as we call them, could be able to poke through the idea of Vance Joseph being the guy that can push this team back into the win column and compete, week in and week out against this NFC West division that has 3 of the 4 teams in the NFC divisional round playoffs. I think that's a bit silly. Johnny and I were talking about it last night. I think JV for the first time in a long time made a great point, just saying like that's a shot across the bow of Michael Bidwell, that this division is very for real and that you better get this head coach right, because in order to kind of stay afloat in here and be competitive, you got to be able to match wits on the sideline. And we've gotten a good taste of Vance Joseph as far as who he is from his stint in Denver. And you could say, hey, he wasn't given a fair shot because he didn't have a quarterback, but still, 10 games under 500. And then just he had the defensive side of the football here for 4 years. Him and Cliff Kingsbury. He was basically assistant head coach to Kingsbury. So, he had a big role in that locker room, and there wasn't a whole lot of success. So I think people pretty much have an idea of who Vance Joseph is. And sure, he's got 4 aces in his hand in Denver, and he's playing that very well. But what's he going to do when he's given a Cardinals roster and is asked to compete in the NFC West? I don't think the advantage would ever go VJ's way.
You're talking about the NFC West, and there's a swath of assistants and coordinators that are on the Cardinals list from the NFC West. Robert Saleh, Clint Kubiak, Mike LaFleur, and Chris Shula. Why do you think they're targeting coordinators from the division? And of those names, who stands out most to you?
I mean, I think I'll answer the latter first. I think Robert Saleh, what he's continued to be able to do with, produce more with less on that defensive side of the football for San Francisco. No Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa. They're down a couple other key components there defensively, and they just continue to find ways to get off the field.
But Bo, I was sold on the idea that once you lost defensive guys, you couldn't coach anymore.
Believe it or not, you can, and it's a testament to Saleh. I think this is his best performance. I mean, you can look back to their run to the Super Bowl, which propelled him to the head coach of the New York Jets when he was the DC here before. But, I think he had a little bit more of an impressive defensive talent. I think Saleh's done his best work, and it would be very smart for the Cardinals to try to keep him within the division, just because he can harness the defensive talent that you have here on the roster, and he's got a great familiarity with what the Niners do, what the Rams do, what the Seahawks do, and he can poach a couple, maybe offensive staff members from San Francisco on his way out the door. I think you give it, no doubt about it, guy looking for a second chance, just alpha leader in that locker room that can elevate your defensive prowess and weaken a division rival. I think that's your best bet. And then the same can be said from Clint Kubiak, but I think he's a little bit more of an unproven commodity. He's made his way up. He's got the pedigree. His dad was a Super Bowl winning coach. He's got connections, and he's kind of maybe Ben Johnson, Kyle Shanahan light, couple years early. But you would be trying to get in on the ground floor on that. That's probably your next best. And then you look at LaFleur. He's been with San Francisco. He's been with the Rams now for 3 years. He was his own play caller. He was Saleh's play caller in New York. Unfortunately, he was given Zach Wilson not a whole lot of ammo there to succeed. And then you got Shula, who has been with. He played college ball with McVay allegedly, and then he's been in the building since 2017. So I think like sniffing around the division, Nespo, it's the right move because you take guys who know just how rigorous this division is, and that you better be up to snuff, or you're gonna get beat in a lopsided game. And you also can weaken one of your divisional rival opponents, all 3 of them, with any one of these moves.
Are we in for another couple of weeks before we have any real clear picture of what's going on, based on the fact that a lot of these coordinators are still in the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The NFL rules, as far as how it gets a little bit tougher. Good thing for the Cardinals. I mean, the credit you can give them during this coaching search is these key coordinators, anybody, the who's who list. You've checked at least the first box of getting a initial interview, which then will open up the ability that if they are still on staff and still on a team that's competing in this playoff run, they can talk to them down the road, where you kind of get a little handcuffed the rest of the way. So a little credit there. And then, these other guys that we keep talking about, whether it's a Harbaugh, McDaniel, or McCarthy, like, you don't need permission, and they're not coaching any team that's in the dance right now. So if they were to pivot and change course, it would be welcome, I think, to Cardinals fans, but you don't have the restrictions really that everybody else would present.
It's also good for us, Bo, so we can go back to the Super Bowl and make Johnny ask every insider what's going on.
I hope it's not that far, Shane. I mean, that would probably point to the Cardinals being, of the 8 teams with openings, being one of the few ones that would still have an opening come that time. I'm a little bit more hopeful they can get it done just a smidge earlier, but I would sign up for that as well, except it would probably mean they're saddling themselves with a little bit of an unknown.
Bo, Sandman wants to know if it's true that Jordan Ott has been contacted for an interview as well.
No, he is not. The Cardinals, it's way too much of a winning resume for them to sniff around Jordan Ott. So, what is he? He's nearly 10 games over 500.
9 right now, yes.
Yeah, they're not interested.
Connor also wanted me to tell you that he can't get the monkeys with symbols out of his head, so hire a coach soon.
All right. Well, welcome to my life. That's every day.
That's just John.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Bo, we appreciate your time. You can follow him at Bo Brock on socials. You can also watch him today at 4:30 on PHNX Cardinals. And really, whenever news breaks, they'll be live. You know it.
Thanks, that's Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Or just on a Sunday night.
That is true. A little extra. Always a pleasure to have Bo with us and Johnny as well when he stops by. Check him out today. Big thank you to everybody in the chat, all the biased. We appreciate you. Hit that like button on the way out. A bigger thank you to the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, for getting everything done back there and also adding some great content to the program today. Also, you can follow him at Shane Deef. You can follow the program at PHNX_sports. And you can follow me at Espo. And remember, the Suns are going to add somebody. Just may not be a trade. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.